What's going on, guys? Noah Jai from the Geek Week here, and we are back with another video. Man, this one is long overdue, and to be honest, if you've kept up with our channel, I have gone in detail about my favorite Star Wars films. I've even gone further and talked about where I kind of think they've dipped in quality, some of the choices I agree with and don't agree with, etc., etc. But that have all been in episodes of the podcast, and I understand that the podcast ranges from 2 hours to 4 hours, so I wouldn't blame you if you hadn't seen those or don't know my opinions on Star Wars. Without further ado, I give you every Star Wars movie ranked in my opinion. Starting at number 11, we have The Last Jedi. How fitting. Rian Johnson's 2017 dumpster fire is easily the worst movie on this list, as it stands out as the weakest link amongst the sorriest of the trilogies. I mean, it wasn't only a waste of time, it was the death of Luke Skywalker, but not the death you're thinking of. I mean, the death of his character. If you don't believe me, just ask Mark Hamill. I mean, nobody else could be more displeased with this film than him. If Mark Hamill doesn't like the film, I mean, that's saying something. It's probably not good. The next entry on this list is a strange one. Make no mistake, this movie is wild and crazy trash. From a quality standpoint, it's not that far off from the 2 or 3 entries ahead of it on the list. This movie is just number 10 on this list because it didn't need to happen, and quite honestly, it never should have. And that movie is Solo, a Star Wars story. Unlike most Star Wars lore that adheres to the less is more ideology, Ryan Howard's 2018 film decides more is more and I do what I want. The mystique of Han Solo, Chewbacca substituted for memes, Lando Calrissian is, oh god, what did they do to Lando Calrissian? But yeah, this is a movie that's the definition of unnecessary. Moving on to number 9, J.J. Abrams was allowed to continue his trilogy in 2019, though initially the movie was set to have another director. Yes, that would be 3 different directors working on 3 different films in the same trilogy. At any rate, The Rise of Skywalker, though a wet donkey turd of a film, I felt was leagues above The Last Jedi, and I do mean leagues. Or perhaps parsecs. At number 8, I feel like I'm betraying a part of myself having this at number 8, but seeing as this was the first Star Wars film I ever saw, it began my love affair with the series. That being said, I was 5, and I'm no longer 5, and I'm no longer dressing as Darth Maul for Halloween. Yes, at number 8, we have The Phantom Menace. From dialogue down to this movie's tone, it is all over the place. Being from the prequel trilogy, it also has, the effect from George Lucas first discovering CGI. Boy, did he love CGI. Remember that whole less is more thing? Well, this is the film where they try to explain the Force with midichlorians, and yeah, it's just not as cool as the mystique, is it? Coming in at number 7 is actually my guilty pleasure of the list. Impossibly cringy with the dialogue seemingly not written for a human being, but oh, do I love this film. At number 7, we have 2002's Attack of the Clones. For all the pure nonsense that this film is, there's some absolute gold in there as well. I mean, a highlight to me being the banter between Obi-Wan and Anakin. It's always been a soft spot for me throughout the films. Oh yeah, and there's Natalie Portman. At number 6, we have 2015's The Force Awakens, another one from J.J. Abrams. Bet you didn't see that coming. In all honesty, I was a bit underwhelmed when this film came out, but it had nothing to do with the quality on the film. On the contrary, I actually thought this film was quite good. I did, however, see it more or less as a reimagining of A New Hope, and that took away from the whole blowing my socks off effect. Nevertheless, that it was a decent enough start to the trilogy. If only he was allowed to finish the trilogy. At number 5, we have 2005's Revenge of the Sith. You want a climax to a space opera? This is a climax to a space opera. From series scores to settings, this film is Star Wars at its best. I honestly feel what hinders this film's success the most is the 2 films that precede it. The rushed, lackluster dialogue carries over, and it's heavily reliant on the CGI as the previous 2 films were. At any rate, Episode 3 is still and always will be one of my favorite Star Wars films of all time. It's epic, every sense of the word epic. At the 4th spot, we have the climax to the original trilogy, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. I mean, what can I say? This is the most badass Luke Skywalker in the most badass point in Star Wars history. This movie is nonstop action, emotion, John Williams at their absolute peak. It's an absolute banger of a film. If you haven't seen it, I mean, are you even a Star Wars fan? At the number 3 spot, we have the OG, 1977's A New Hope. Phantom Menace may have been the first I saw, but this is the one that really put me on to Star Wars. I mean, thank you to Blockbuster and thank you to my mother, but without A New Hope, it would have never turned out to be the love affair that it is, truly. At number 2, to be clear, I've never complained to people that have this as a number 1. I have that much respect for what they were able to achieve with this film, and that is 2016's Rogue One, a Star Wars story from Gareth Edwards. To not only attempt to insert a film into a timeline between 2 existing films, but to also have that film be good enough to stand on its own 2 legs, is an achievement in and of itself. I can't recommend this film more to old and new fans alike. I mean, this is just a really, really well done film and deserves all the praise it gets. Last but not least, we have my favorite Star Wars film of all time. And that is, of course, if you've seen anything on our channel, you know damn well, it is 1980's The Empire Strikes Back. Being as young as I was when I first saw this, I mean, I didn't even know that was possible in storytelling. I didn't know the bad guys could win. I mean, I might have checked that movie like 30 times. Like, no, I missed something. Something's not right here. Every time the credits rolled, Darth Vader was still on top. And oh yeah, this is Darth Vader at his absolute best. Except for maybe that one Rogue One hallway scene. But yeah, that's my list, guys. Get in the comments. I'd love to hear how your list differs or if it doesn't differ. Either way, I'd love to talk to you about it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this, man. And I will catch you in the next one. Peace.